Okay, so, uh, let me turn this down a bit. Um, so, Project Hero, right? Uh, I think anybody that like has kinda seen like Sonic fan games and whatnot over the years, knows it. It was pretty influential back then, and it started trends of like neat fan games with like neat physics and whatnot. Of course, Hero stopped because life happened and whatnot. But in the last release of 2021, he did say that if one wanted to, one could like decompile the Unity files and use that, right? That was in the 2021 build, you know, the one that like was recently released and whatnot. Uh, that's not what happened exactly. The Project Hero files were decompiled. There's actually two decompilations, but from the 2019 demo. The first one is ReWired, which is the one that we're going to play today. And I think there's Recoded, something like that. They're similar, which is the open source framework for the 2019 version. With that being said, the ReWired, right? Sonic Project Hero ReWired has been released recently, and it's basically like a ports of stages with the Project Hero framework, right? I will abstain from saying what it is until I play it. Well, we play it. But, you know, not precisely impressed with what I have seen so far, you know? So, let me boot this up. I'm gonna stop the music. No more music. There we go. Why are you frozen? Hello? Oh. Oh, that's awkward. But can I pause it? Thank you. Oh god. Dude, I forgot. Yeah, okay. It's gonna take, oh, there it is. Let's apply changes. And, can I change it to... Yes. Damn, nothing changed in the visuals. That's funny. The third... Oh, they have that? That's neat. Audio... There you go. Full... Yes. There we go. Alright. That's a lot of motion blur. And my cursor won't disappear. Marvelous. Can I connect the controller to this? Hold on. Let me, like, put this in the corner. Oh, yeah. That works. I haven't played a Sonic game with controller in a while, so that's going to be a bit awkward. Let's just like run around for a bit before we like do anything. Just to like get used again to the controls. Because it's been like a hot minute since like I played anything Project Hero related. You know, very neat physics. Something that... Okay, I'll refrain from like saying actual opinions for now, but me personally, I have a lot to say about like this game and how it's regarded in the fangin community, which is kind of funny because Daybreak, the game that I like work on, falls into a lot of things of the like same like flaws and whatnot. But, you know, we're too deep in to, like, change some stuff. At least for now. Demo 3 is going to be huge, which is funny, because Demo 2 is already such a big departure from, like, Demo 1. We'll say Project Hero does have, like, very nice physics, and that has always been, like, the case. Right? What's the blue? Yeah, there we go. No, very neat, very nice physics. Will also say I feel like the Project ReWired looks worse than the OG 2019 demo. Mainly like on the character shaders. They look like more plasticky and like the Fresnel effect is not properly applied, I think. It's weird. I visually prefer how the 2019 version looks. Not much that, like, you know, lighting can go wrong in a test stage is a test stage. I slightly prefer the old skybox, but that's about it. Oh, that's neat. There's that red ring over there. Very nice sound mixing too, although that's from the OG Project Hero. Can I please get that red ring? Did I get it? No. There we go. Camera feels nice. I feel like it could be a bit more automated. Specifically on the up axis, the you know, up and down slope and whatnot, because like the camera following on the like horizontal, it's pretty neat, it's pretty nice, it feels smooth, it feels nice. But you know, there's none of that over here, so I think they added rails by themselves, like on the for ReWired. They feel very nice. Knight's collision, I don't detect any collision errors. Completely unrelated. We need to completely rewrite at some point the oh, that's nice rail switching. The rail code for Daybreak, because it's kind of funky, kind of not very good. That's a lot of speed that you can get. That's definitely not broken. Just from like spamming a few buttons. Huh. Okay, well, yeah, it's pretty nice. Oh, damn, the Frontiers cannons. That's neat. Also, they did definitely up the motion blur amount for this release. It's very nice. It's not default Unreal levels of motion blur, which is outright fucking ridiculous. Genuinely, Unreal's default motion blur settings are horrendous, because even if something is in motion, it shouldn't lose its basic shape. Fucking in Unreal, the basic motion blur settings makes it so that it literally becomes a blob. It loses any sense of, like, detailing. But, you know, I will always say that, like, doesn't matter what engine, framework, or whatever, you should be able to, like, edit it on your own to, like, even if the, framework or engine that you're using is trash, or, like, not the best at default, you can edit it to make it fairly decent. I think we have done, at least in Daybreak, something fairly nice. Our real version, I would consider to be similar to Hedgehog Engine 1, actually, in many aspects, just that, like, deferred rendering, better ambient occlusion, ray tracing effects, stuff like that. Oh, and pretty neat dynamic GI solution. But, you know, there's still a long way to go. But besides that, yeah, this is the same test stage. How do you change characters in controller? I completely forgot. I haven't played this demo forever. Oh, hey, neat, more enemies. That's nice. Can you... do you do something? Anything? Donk, donk, donk. Ah, yes, just like the classics intended. Oh, and that ends the stage. I completely forgot about that. Another thing about Project Hero, I know that, like, the 2019 version was decompiled and not the 2021 version because it's technically in a more quote-unquote finished state. It's more polished overall. Well, not overall, it's just that, like, the things that are there, you know, you cannot normally see the rougher things around the edges. Meanwhile, meanwhile the 2021 demo has more things like to go. You can definitely see that it wasn't never really in a completed state, like, at all. Whoa. But I feel like one of the things with, like, Project Hero is that it's it wasn't very, like, if you were to do an actual game with this, it would be a bit of an issue. That's funny. It would be a bit of an issue simply because it's too much, right? And that's, like, my main worry with this. These are, like, straight up ports of things, like, just with the Project Hero framework. Don't know how well it will go. And let me go back to, like, the half pipe all the way over there. Oh yeah, this place. This place is neat. They had a few things. That's neat. Can you not crouch in rails? Why did it restart? Okay, whatever. So, let's look, for example, at this half pipe, right? With a few stomps. Look at how high you go. Not even Daybreak does something like this, I think. I'm pretty sure. Right? So, you know, put that in an actual stage, which, as far as I have seen, most of the stages that they ported were, like, adventure boost era. Well, mainly adventure, right? So, like, 06, SA1. Those were fairly slow games, all things considered. But, you know, anyways, let's quit. I'ma quit yapping and actually play the game. I haven't even played a stage, just running around the tutorial. Well, test stage. Which I will say, good testament to, like, how Hero did the basic physics. It's very fun to, like, run around. Actually very similar to how Boost Sonic controls, you know, without the boost and whatnot, and with a little bit more control. Will say, not loving how Sonic is shaded here. He's basically unlit, besides like what's already pre-baked into the diffuse channel. But you know, that's fine. Welcome to... welcome. To get started, hold R... I'm dyslexic. R1, okay. To charge a spin dash, release to zoom forward. Okay. I have a different setting, but yeah. Okay. Easy enough. Oh. Homing attack tutorialization. Can you cross this with a regular jump? Yeah. Okay. Oh yeah, the momentum homing attack. Oh, that's funny. Huh, okay. Well, whatever. Maybe you should do like a balloon to like block that. Very nice momentum homing attack. No complaints there. Hold while moving to roll. Okay, whatever. I had 4 views for a second. Who were they? I don't know. Whoa. Hold RB, R1 mid, R2 professional. Let me look at my actual channel stream if anything has happened. Nope. Okay. And mute that. Okay. That's really easy. It's a neat tutorial, just linear, not much to say really. Maybe make it so that you can immediately say continue to the thingy, just in case. After a jump dash, perform the bounce attack to refresh it for an extra. Oh yeah. Similar to 06 actually. Oh, neat dynamic camera. Ah. I do wonder how they did their camera volumes. I don't remember if OG Project Hero had those. Damn, okay. I don't remember if OG Project Hero had those, but the dynamic camera volumes seem very nice actually. Fuck. Very smooth, very non-stuttery, no issues there. There we go. Well, LT. I'm dyslexic. What button is that? Left. Oh, L2. Okay. Oh, that's cool. Hell yeah, that's actually very cool. Hold on. Yeah, that's neat. I like that. Very nice sound effects and visual effects. Approach the grind rail to start grinding. I assume that the ones that said new are not in the OG project here, so that's neat. Rail switching. Okay. Wall run. Oh, hold on. Is this new? Nope. The wall jump was already there. Okay. With enough speed. Okay, just water running. Neat tutorialization. It's not like revolutionary or anything. It's just nice to have. Yay! Does this have a... Nope. Alright, Windmill Island. What was the dev time? 23 seconds? That's fucked up. Okay. Let me talk a bit for a second about Windmill Island visuals. Because I am going to critique this game's visuals, right? It's a port, it's stage ports, right? If you're porting stages, I would expect them to like at least be the same as the original in terms of visuals. This is clearly not trying to be the same gameplay. You can already like go outside of boundaries. Oh hey, that's neat. Chip is there. With a chocolate chip. And dead. But like, I would expect something like this to either be looking the same or better than the original. I will cut it a bit of slack since it's Unleashed, and granted, unless you're like actively in the modding community of like Unleashed and like you end up like knowing a bunch of the insides outs, how the Unleashed tone mapper works, little things like Hedgehog Engine technically using Temporal Bloom and stuff like that, you know, I'll give it a pass. With that being said, holy fuck, Sonic looks ugly here. This comes from like what I have already said about the materials. Let's like just like look at his first for a second. He looks way too overblown, and he's missing the fur effect for the fall off. I doubt that this game uses SSAO. Actually, let me confirm. Spimble style. Yeah, whatever. Anti-aliasing, blue brander when a devil field. No, this game does not use SSAO. We're in 2026. You can get away with doing a pretty cheap SSAO if you wanted to. Something like, I wouldn't say the OG implementation that Crysis did in all the way back in 2004, I believe, was when Crysis released, since that's quite possibly the worst way to do it. Something like a fairly optimized GTO can work. It can be just 1 millisecond if you wanted to. How's this called? Hi, Oni. Mayhaps, I don't know. But something like, what's this GT SSAO? Not Ground Truth, it's HBO or HBO Plus. I think HBO. I don't remember which one of two was closed source, but I'm pretty sure that you can use those to like get away with like having a little bit more depth. It doesn't need to be much, but like it will fix things like, for example, look at Sonic Shoes. It looks very not integrated with the scene, right? Adding a little bit of that can help a tiny teensy. What else? I already complained about the Sonic shader. It's kind of weird. It's technically trying to be kind of like Generations or Unleash, I think, but it's missing a few things. Not exactly a fan. The lighting is overblown. In terms of like shaders for like the environment, it's pretty close. I'll give it a pass. It's good. We good. Let me actually play this stage now. You know, this is the most momentum-y stage from Unleash, right? I can't see shit there. Yeah, man. I guess. This is like the most momentum like stage from Unleash. So I can definitely see why they would choose this as like one of the stages from to port from Unleash, as you know, it can translate fairly well into a momentum framework. Jesus. Enemy AI is looking good. You might want to fix that camera clipping. There's a lot of camera clipping actually. What else? What else? I don't remember the grass being this small, but like that's a small detail. It's fine. Oh, this is a fixed camera. That's a bit awkward. Here's a thing. In OG Unleashed, if I remember correctly, the camera would like go along with like the position or well rotation that Sonic was going, so it would like tilt up or down depending on what we were going. This would help to like, you know, just help with the sense of speed, and if you were going backwards, I'm pretty sure it would turn you around. Just a suggestion. Light maps seem a bit fucked. Look at the wood specifically. That's not correct. That shouldn't look like that. Unless they're using like SS shadows, and it just didn't bake at all in there, and it's just like a very low res baked solution. But why would you do that? Actually, yeah, no, never mind. That's definitely not bake. I'm seeing cascaded shadows. Okay, man. Are the rings desynced? I cannot tell if they're desynced. Hold on, I'm gonna restart stage. They seem pretty synced up as far as I can see. Also, I find it kind of funny that base Project Hero is basically like the same speed as like Unleash. Look at this, I'm already going at boost levels of speed, as I was saying. Yeah, shadows are definitely not baked. Maybe the GI is baked, or they are using the OG GI maps from the original, but not a great look. I will always say baked GI is the way to go. This is running fine. This is a pretty optimized framework. I doubt that it would have any issues. Yep, rings seem pretty synced up. I'm gonna assume that they're doing the ring rotation via the how's this called? The okay, that loops is genuinely annoying without the automation. What was I saying? Oh yeah, rings, at least how Daybreak does it to like save performance, is pretty common actually in recent like Unreal Engine games, or well, frameworks, is that we have gone from like doing the rotation by a CPU, which would mean we needed to like update every ring, every frame on the CPU all the time, and we have gone to do the rotation via shaders in the GPU, which, you know, helps with performance. We don't need to worry about like, oh, we have 500 rings and we essentially have 500 objects updating every frame on the CPU, which the CPU is not good for that, because that would entail not doing instancing. We can do instancing via per material on the GPU, which is neat, right? It's very nice. Yeah, next stage, whatever. What's the dev time? 23 seconds. What the fuck? Okay. Uh, yeah. Also, one thing. This was also a thing in how's it in Daybreak? We fixed it. We thought we fixed it, then it turns out that we didn't, but we ended up fixing it relatively recently. Is that when you bounced, the speed cap would get to the max, right? So you would like be able to do crazy shit like this, but in Daybreak. Not optimal, because as you can see, you can skip a lot of stuff. It still has, like, its complexity and skill involved to, like, actually pull it off, but, you know, not a great first impression, per se. So, you know, me personally, I would have fixed it, and that would also, like, keep the Twitter mob at bay. But, you know, this is a project made for fun. I'll talk about my feelings about this later. I have a few things to say, honestly. Even if it's just the first stage. Damn, okay. Okay. I will never get, like, people on Twitter saying, oh, you're just skipping the entire stage, that involves no skill. And yes, you do, like, skip a bunch of stuff, but you also need to time it, you need to know where the fuck you're going, stuff like that. It's not just, like, spam the button, at least not entirely. Yes, of course, you will skip a bunch of it, but that's kind of the point now, ain't it? Okay, that was a pretty nice skip. Am I gonna make it? Absolutely not. I'm already late, in fact. Yeah, that's a bit of an issue. Okay. Yeah, 23 seconds. Damn, that's actually kind of tough. Not gonna lie, that's pretty good. Alright, time to lock the fuck in. Okay. I meant to do a drop dash, but it's... fuck. It wasn't fine. I'm gonna get the stream down just by swearing, I swear to god. And yeah. The controls feel good. You know, it's made in Unity and like from scratch, so frameworks like this don't have to deal with a lot of the things that frameworks in Unreal have to deal for the longest time, which is like, frame dependence, janky controllers, stuff like that, because like most Unreal Engine frameworks have been basically updated versions of the same two things. There's Dash and then there's Infinity Engine, which then like became Dash 1.1, 1.2, 1.3, and Velocity in the case of Infinity. And even in like UE5, Springworks can be considered an evolution of Dash Engine. The developer for Dash 1.3 and that also was affiliated with the development of 1.2 did work on it, so you know there's a lot of DNA there. And what was the other one? Bounce? Yeah, Bounce framework. It's not like it's not a one-to-one, but it does mix a bunch of things, even from Blitz 3D, which is neat to see. Those like old Sonic fan games getting like to see their contributions to the modern day scene. But yeah, again, in many ways we have been like dealing with the same stuff for almost over a decade, actually, which is fun. I need to time that correctly. I feel like I can get a pretty neat speed boost over there. Kinda. There we go. Why are you slow here? Okay. That's pretty good. Let me see if I can make it in time. I don't think so. Yeah, hell no. How can I, like, approach that final section? I can maybe get a bounce out of the, like, how's this called? The upper section, I guess would be a good way to say it. Hello, 3 viewers. My stream is, like, oscillating between 1 and 2, 3 viewers. That's kinda funny. What... I'm gonna keep playing this stage until I get the death time. I messed that up. But, yeah. Actually, while we're at it, I wanna talk about, like, how I've seen the reception of this game. Here's my main problem with it, right? I think it's fine, and I will never, like, criticize a project like this as harshly as, like, something like Omens. This is clearly something that's made for fun, as a what-if, right? Project Hero is still very influential in the fangame community. It, like, started this, like, well, not started, but, like, solidified this trend of, like, having frameworks that are fairly polished with, like, very good physics and whatnot. And, like, it popularized the test stage format, right? With that being said, in something like this, I've seen, like, a lot of people... I remember seeing a video early today. I don't remember what the name of the guy was, but he said that, like, fangame history was just made. That was the title of the video. And his entire thesis, well, not entire thesis, but he basically went through, like, an overview of the contents of the demo. And what he said at one point was that, like, this is what he wanted out of, like, the next Sonic game, right? And praising it all the way for, like, how good it is and whatnot. It's fine. Like, yes, I've still yet to play the entire game, and I do like that the dev time, like, sets a challenge, right? The dev times are fairly, like, hard to get, right? You need to be very precise from what I'm, like, getting here. But I wouldn't say that this is, like, the future of fangames, or not fangames, so, like, the official games, not even close. There's of course the fact that, like, you know, Sonic Team needs to appeal to a more broader audience, right? Not only, like, the ultra mega Sonic fan that, like, has been playing this for forever and, like, knows the ins and outs of the physics and, like, has been playing fangames and whatnot. But also the general audience, right? Which, you know, it's more tame, wants something familiar, and, like, Sonic by itself is such a unique thing. This is a very tough thing to sell realistically, right? And that's one of the privileges of fangames. They're targeted towards Sonic fans. Sonic fans know how to play those games. You don't need to, like, teach them, well, not teach them, but, like, essentially spell everything for them, which is one of my main critiques with Frontiers, right? But on the other hand, I feel like this game is also getting overhated, especially in Twitter, which, to be fair, the problem in the first place was looking at Twitter, right? Say people were saying that this is disgusting, that people only want to skip the level and whatnot. Dude, it's a fan game. People do these for fun, not to, like, make an agenda, right? Which spills out into an entire other conversation with the fan game community, which is like, I feel like most things nowadays are meant to fill an agenda, which, no, the, fly over everything and skip the level agenda, the momentum agenda, the Sonic Open World agenda, the blah blah blah. It gets kind of tiring at a point, like, seeing all of these people being like, taking all of this shit so seriously when it's like, dude, I'm just doing a game for fun. Genuinely. Right? And I think that, like, most fan game developers can relate to that. I'm not gonna make a game to, like, prove a point, right? I feel that's a fucking dangerous mindset. I'm just making a game because I think this is fun, I think I can learn from this, I see potential in it. Why not? I have the free time, I wanna get knowledge, maybe turn this hobby into, you know, my career. I don't wanna fucking prove to the bro on Twitter that this can work in 3D. I don't care. I genuinely don't care if it can work or not. I just want to have fun, right? Again, I don't think that, like, it's such a polarizing game because, like, some people are praising this way too much, saying that it's the future of Sonic and, you know, all of that clickbaity stuff. And, you know, I'm having fun. I've spent half an hour, 20 minutes, just trying to get, like, the dev time. If I wasn't having fun, I wouldn't be doing this, I would move on. But I wouldn't say that this is, like, the future of Sonic games. Not even close. Yeah. Whoa. Actually, I wanna... Fun trivia. I wanna talk about something else. I remember back in the day... quick context, this was prior to Hero releasing the 2021 build, right? So he hadn't made any statement about the compilations or stuff like that. It was, I think, a year ago. There's this, the Dash Engine Discord server. I think the link for it died a long time ago, but, you know, the people that are there, you know, fan game developers, modelers, people from the old school. It's fairly dead because, you know, again, people from the old school, most of these guys have jobs now, alright? They can no longer, like, dedicate themselves to, like, Sonic stuff. But I remember that at one point, it was in the hiring channel, right? Where people can look for, like, you know, recruit other people for the projects and whatnot. And it was this, like, bizarre text, like, hey guys, I'm making, like, this Sonic fan game. So far it's very early in development. We have, like, base Sonic physics. Does anybody want to work with me? Which, first of all, I know that, like, for most people that do that, because if you have, you know, you're a little bit more experienced, usually you know where to, like, go more specifically to find people to work with, right? You would work with friends, you would work with people that are already in the scene, right? Just look at Beats. Beats have been doing modding and, like, fan stuff for a while. But, you know, besides that, right? And he sent a few screenshots and images and videos. And we pretty quickly figured out that it was a decomp. of Project Hero, the 2019 build. And of course we called him out being like, hey buddy, isn't this like Project Hero? Question mark, question mark, question mark? And he was like, what? No, it's a neat little thing. Of course we have eyes. The shaders were fairly similar. How Sonic moved was straight up one-to-one. Project Hero has a very specific way to handle its turning and camera movement. I should actually look into it for Daybreak. But you know, stuff like that. Of course, we eventually got him to confess, but he was like, you know, Project Hero hasn't gotten any updates. I'm sure he would be fine. Here's a quick little thing about the Sonic community. I'm just going to do the next stage, but while I'm talking. If you like decompile or like rip assets from another creator in the fangame space, you will lose essentially all respect. Also, Wave Ocean palm trees, those are fun. You will lose essentially all respect internally for like developers. Usually the general public doesn't get to know like those stories because, well, you know, they just aren't like in that world, right? But, you know, whoa, that's funny. Yeah, that tends to happen. I'll talk about it later. But yeah, it ended up becoming a whole debacle to the point that it was like the mods had to get involved and like kick him out, and I think they reported him to like other developing Discord servers like Hedgehog Engine, modding community and stuff like that. Which, you know, was fun. Okay, Emerald Coast. Let's talk about the lighting for a second. Again, please fix the camera clipping. Like, that's just not good. Can I? No, I cannot zoom in or out. That's kind of annoying. Well, not annoying, but like, you know, if you like do so many changes, I would like to like see them. Case in point, first of all, this water issue, something that I would regularly use, or not regularly, but like generally as a rule of thumb use, is I would have like a collider or something like that, checking if Sonic is touching the water, and I would have like, that would usually be in the nose. Can he drown? I don't know. We would have one collider in the nose. I'm gonna turn down the volume. We would have one collider in the nose, and another one in like below the waist, and that would mainly like handle things that are pertaining to that stuff if you're under the water, so that you don't spring back up, or if you want him to like, you know, be able to get back up if you have enough speed. We would do I think what Unleash does is that Unleash either applies a force to like lift him back up, or it would have a plane underneath and like go up and down and up and down, up and down, right? So that it doesn't spring as fast. Can you drown? You can, but there's no sound effects. That's funny. Again, this is straight up ports, no texture improvements whatsoever. You know, okay, it's fine, I guess. Seems like they're using, yeah, I guess they're definitely using at least baked GI. Maybe not baked shadowing, which I would argue is one of the most expensive things to have, because, you know, you need to do cascading and sample fairly high textures, high resolution textures, but you know. See how the like ocean becomes Sonic becomes blue once he is in the ocean, and over here it's more white-ish. The Wave Ocean Dolphins. I'm pretty sure that in the OG 06 they're essentially a static model. I would either rig them or buy a shader, use a sine wave so that they get animated, because it's kind of funky seeing them just like up and down, right? I'm guessing these are OG Emerald Coast textures just because of how blurry it is. If you're doing 06 trees, rule of thumb, update everything else, right? So that there's not like that whiplash between high resolution stuff and like crunchy. Again, I said this in like a private server when I was discussing with some of the Daybreak devs about this actually. This is clearly an amateur project. I'm pretty sure that this is Stelmo. First time doing a project, which, you know, I started somewhere too. If it wasn't for the framework, this would clearly not be the best. Damn it. But yeah, crunchy and very high res textures. Also, 06, I don't remember the name. He's cute, I like him. Let's actually play this stage. More 06 models. I would, yeah, again, I would update the textures, honestly. That would be a fun project. I already started doing something like that in Black Knight. With Camelot Castle, I have a project with a Camelot Castle with essentially Hedgehog Engine 1 lighting, ray tracing effects, screen space effects, blah blah blah. With deferred updated rendering, nice GTAO, and I'm redoing the textures from scratch so that they're no longer like, you know... Oh, that's a harsh loop. They're no longer, you know, that crunchy Wii texture. It was my first time doing that, and there's some that I would definitely redo. It's not the most faithful, being quite honest, but you know, it's pretty close. Which also lends itself because Black Knight lends itself for very neat realism. Also, something I noticed, this stage has SSAO, not GTAO, not like, you know, any complex version of the ambient occlusion methods. Regular SSAO. Not what I would use. You know, yeah, I guess it's cheap, but you know, we're 2026. We can definitely optimize that and use like bitmaps and whatnot to like make GTO friendly performance and high quality. This is not the best. Also, something that Daybreak does is that we pre-bake. Wait, no, is that? No, yeah, that's definitely SSAO. We pre-bake the ambient occlusion mapping. So I grab the model, plop it into Substance Painter, bake the model in Substance Painter, and that spits me a texture that gives me the ambient occlusion data, so how occluded stuff is. And that helps so that the ambient occlusion solution doesn't need to be like the highest resolution to like figure out what needs to be occluded, but it's also like enough to, you know, get all the information needed. There's some tweaks that we need to do, mainly how it deforms with like animations, but you know, it does its job. Oh, that's funny. It does its job. Definitely a visual upgrade compared to like Demo 1, which was disabled for some reason, and it darkened what was closed, because, fun fact, the default GTAO of Unreal Engine... Why am I getting frame drops in here? The default Unreal Engine GTAO was horrendous. Absolutely horrendous, genuinely. It didn't have like the best sampling. things that like even yeah, things that would get like occluded, but like things that shouldn't be occluded were like this gray, meaning that they would get darker when they should be like, you know, not. And stuff like that. That's all been fixed in their custom version alongside some neat SSR tech. It's, I want to improve it a bit since it does rely a bit in TAA and whatnot. And it's a bit noisy, but it is very performant, I would say. This is a bold claim, but I would say it's one of the most performance SSR solutions out there. Bold claim, I know, but like, you know, I would say that. Not like I have done testing, but I did see a very big improvement compared to like the default. Where am I? To the default SSR that ships with Unreal. Essentially, what we do is that we get the G buffer, which for like the two people that see this, the G buffer is like this like set of textures that gives us information about like the game, right? So we have things like the normal, the roughness maps, specular materials, well, not specular materials, specular maps, how metallic some things are, stuff like that, right? The world normal, depth, you know, and we can use those to create screen space effects. So like depth of field, bloom, screen space reflections, ambient occlusion. All of those modern techniques rely on the G buffer. Unreal supports it mainly on deferred rendering, but there's things like Forward Plus nowadays, which allow for very optimized like rendering, while keeping some of those screen space effect and very high amounts of lights. I cannot say how it actually works because I have never worked with Forward Plus and Unreal does support it. I know for a fact that like the best solution for that is the IT Tech software, and IT Tech engine, which is the one that like say Doom uses, or in Indiana Jones, the Secret Circle, was it called? Which are incredibly stunning games, and hell, they even come with a full path tracer, and some of the best path tracers in the industry, if I may say so myself. So, you know, very, very neat stuff. So, for Daybreak, the newest stage, New Athlete, it's very reflective, not only because the, spoilers, because this hasn't been shown yet, the outside, it's raining a lot, right? So we have water droplets splashing and other things that help a lot with the look. And we also have like by itself very metallic, very rough surfaces, which, you know, very nice. And with ray tracing, which is one of the new features that we added, ray trace reflections, it looks very nice. But, you know, not everybody can run ray tracing shading, so we need to optimize for like those people that can't, right? Which is most of our target audience. There's some stuff with the bug that the X12 crashes AMD GPUs, but that's besides the point. The point is, we needed to optimize SSR because it doesn't matter if we have a cutoff if 90% of the stage is reflective and within that cutoff, right? Otherwise, it would just all fall under a cube map. And we still wanted to keep like those like context-sensitive reflections, right? Alongside like the cube maps, right? I am somebody that says every technique is incomplete on its own, but if used alongside the other techniques, it can give the best result. So cube maps and SSR are used in combination, right? One of the things that I needed to do was, you know, optimize that. So going back to the G buffers, we have this buffer called the, at least in Unreal, the reflection buffer, which, well, not reflection, it's a roughness map. But essentially it tells the game, well, the GPU, hey, these are the materials, and this is how rough it is. It goes from 0 to 1, or black and white, and it can say how... And yeah, it's used for things like reflected cutoff, so that not everything gets like the SSR algorithm applied to it, right? Very neat stuff. It's very good, works for what it needs to do, right? So I thought to myself, hey, we already have this. Could we, like, theoretically use this to say how many rays we use? Because SSR, at least Unreal Engine SSR, which is stochastic SSR, which is technically a form of ray tracing, kinda. It's a screen space ray tracer. Stochastic SSR requires a lot of rays and subsequent denoising to work, right? Because we want those like nice brush reflections and specular engagements and whatnot for the thing, right? For the reflections. But we can't, like, in such a stage that like has so many reflective surfaces, it becomes expensive, especially since we're casting the same amount of rays no matter how rough or smooth the surface is. It's all the same. So yes, I am playing a game. Hi Omek, how's it going? So what we essentially did, or well, what I did, I was the one in charge of like doing engine modifications and whatnot, is that I said, okay, what if instead of casting the same amount of rays everywhere, Jesus Christ, dude, holy shit, the camera clipping. That's actually fucked up. Instead of like casting the same amount of rays, no matter from where you are in the scene, we already know how reflective some of these surfaces are going to be thanks to the reflection map, right? So, in theory, what we could do is get that and essentially do a lerping and say, hey, if you are between these and that values, give me like this amount of like rays per pixel. And yeah, that worked pretty well actually. We saw like a 20%, 20-40% increase, I would like to say, I'm not sure. But we did see like a performance upgrade, which is fantastic, because if we didn't have that, oh my god, Neoclete would have been a nightmare to run on lower end devices. And it's like not even funny. Fuck. Let me actually log in and play the game. Hold on, let me see let me move this over here. Yeah, there we go. I'm very excited for like the direct demo too, and people to play it. I also find it so funny that like I've been talking more about myself than this game. Let me actually talk about like the game real quick. Water shading looks good. You know, I like how reflective it is and whatnot. Very nice stuff. Not much else I can say though, really, like realistically. It looks, this stage looks nice. Again, some of the contrast between the high-res 06 assets and the old-ass adventure assets could definitely be remedied, especially since, you know, we definitely had like substitutes for those assets with things like Emerald Coast, even. But you know. Fuck. Actually, let me try something. I want to see if I can like. Oh yeah, that definitely works. That totally works, actually. All right, let me try that then. What else? It feels a bit weird, right? I'm somebody that likes speedrunning, and I'm very easy to please with, like, if I find myself trying something over and over again because I wanna, like, beat a challenge, 9 out of 10 times is because I'm having fun. If I genuinely wasn't having fun, I would have dropped the game a long time ago. This is fun, right? If we were looking at it from a game design standpoint, yeah, you can make an argument, dude, this is a fan game. We're making this for fun, right? Not to be like an actual game. You know, this is neat. It's very nice, it's fun. Okay. Lighting-wise, it's funny, because I don't dislike how the environments look. I actually like them a lot. I'm self-locked. Hello? Okay, there we go. That was interesting. I want to touch up real quick on like this trend. Not trend, more like fucking toxic Sonic Twitter. I guess would be a nice name. And I genuinely feel like we have gone from treating fan games as like, you know, this nice little things that people do for fun, into genuine like products comparable to Sonic Team. And yes, granted, nowadays we have like the tech and the expertise to do it, right? We're and like, you know, especially seeing like things that are coming up, not specifically what's out there, just like what's coming, right? Once you get deep enough into the fan game community, you'll like start like seeing like people sharing their projects and whatnot. Oh my god, dude, there's some stuff genuinely impressive coming up. Sonic Horizons, Project Nocturne, yeah, it's kind of biased, but Daybreak. There's a lot coming up that, yeah, it's very impressive. But at the end of the day, these projects have never changed into the like why they're made. They're not made like because of like what Sonic Team has to. They're a company. They need to keep doing them to stay afloat, right? It's a company. It's a team specifically made to make Sonic games. I need water. I don't have water here. Fan games are made because we want to have fun. We don't have a deadline to meet, we don't have expectations to meet, technically. Right? So, like, we just do whatever the fuck we want. Again, I'm not coming in completely blind to this project. I have sadly entered Sonic Twitter, and I'm seeing, like, people comment about this game from time to time. Even in my own circle, it's almost impossible to avoid this game just because it's Project Hero, right? The thing is that, like, dude, we're doing this for fun, right? Again, I saw that somebody said that this is genuinely disgusting, blah blah blah. It's like, dude, do I owe you something? Do I genuinely owe you something for me to, like, be after my throat? Relax, right? There shouldn't be a reason for, like, people to, like, be pleasers, like, expectation pleasers, especially of, like, people that apparently don't have anything better to do but, like, criticize games that are free. This is free, and it's not even, like, the main franchise. It's just a random guy in its basement having fun and, like, trying to learn and maybe eventually turn this into the hobby. Why express so much hate? Can we, like, yes, criticism is good, but, like, can be joyful and whimsy while giving said criticism. You don't need to be after the throats of these people, right? Of course, it's more complex than that, because a project is also surrounded by its reception. I assure you that Hero didn't expect Project Hero to get, like, as big as it did. Yet here we are, right? 7 years later, and its influence is still felt absurdly. And, you know, a lot of people say, even back in the day, said, Sega should learn from this. The fucking Project Hero was in the damn news. It got that big that, like, gaming outlets, which, yeah, gaming outlets, but gaming outlets nonetheless, like, picked it up. Right? That's something. Want it or not, that's something. So, you know, that, like, weaponization of, like, bang games, and, like, if it's not, like, this, like, perfect thing that, like, appeals specifically to you, well, I guess I'm gonna hate on this now. Whoops! Doesn't matter that, like, the team actually put a lot of effort into it. This is the worst shit ever, and they get absolutely killed themselves. That's not good. that's just not good. Dude, like, genuine, like, again, do I owe you something for you to be like this? Like, treating my game this badly? I'm doing this for fun. And if you want to play the game, fantastic. What's the time? 1 minute. I think I can make that. Right? You don't need to be, like, so negative about something, right? And this also ties up to, like, how I think the world has turned out in general. Holy fuck, there's so much negativity all over the place, right? Not only, like, in the Sonic community, generally, you know, I'm gonna get political. The United States, I think we're all well aware of what the fuck is happening. Well, not well aware, but, like, what's generally happening over there, right? It's like, there's no denying that even, let's entertain the possibility for a second that it's fake. The conversation is happening anyways, right? It's not something that, like, appeared out of nowhere, right? And I'm somebody that says that behind every statement, there's a margin of truth. Even if it's the most ridiculous thing you might have ever heard, right? But I feel like people are overly negative. Yes, I know life sucks. Prices are all over the place, and it's very hard right now. But I feel like even in times like this, we can, like, get some joy and whimsy out of, like, life, right? There must be something we can do, right? Must be, like, activities that we can do to, like, entertain ourselves. Even if it's just, like, talking to other people, you're doing something, right? You're trying to be positive, right? Call me naive, right? I don't know like everything about the world, but like I'm sure that we can get like some good out of our current situation that we're in the world right now. You know? It's hard times. I won't deny that. But there's also always been hard times. Right? And in every generation, we've been able to like, I wouldn't say solve it, but like, get over it, I guess would be the word. So, even if things are shitty right now, I know that we can pull it through. I am perfectly confident in that. Humans are such incredible creatures. I was thinking about this the other day, but like, we went from like, just like, let's think for a second about like, the electronics, like, not computers, electronics in general. We went for, like, those started as like, us just mining rocks, and somehow we turned those rocks into magic nanometer rocks that fucking can allow us to play stuff like this. This is genuinely impressive, right? Humans are such amazing creatures just because of the fact that, like, they create so much stuff and do so many things that, like, how the fuck do we even figure this out in the first place, right? There's genuinely, like, advancements in so many fields, and, like, positive stuff, positive news, right? Let me look at China for a second. They have, like, these massive solar farms, and they're the most clean country. At least, as far as I know, right? That's nice, because even if we don't have it in the West, that's still progress. We're progressing as a species, right? Yes, you could make the argument that, like, oh, the like, human rights and blah blah blah. Yes, and I agree, things are kind of fucked up. But I'm sure that we can pull it through eventually. Things will get better. I'm sure of it. It's just a matter of giving time, right? Geez, this turned philosophical. Let me look in for a second. Okay, that's nice. Whoop. By the way, I really like the guillotines from 06. Okay, buddy. I just like them. I think they're really nicely modeled, and they scratch an itch in me. The sound effects and whatnot. They've been added to Derek Demo 2 for some stages and whatnot. They look very nice. The file for them is France. True historians will get that reference. I'm running out of things to say, low-key. I'm having fun. This is fun. It's a challenge, and I enjoy a challenge. Right? You can make an argument about it being, like, not well designed or whatever. Dude, I don't care. I'm having fun, and we all just, like, have a little joy and whimsy in life, especially in these hard times. I feel like that's something that would generally benefit us all. How do I approach this section? Let me, like, not skip it for a second. Okay, I would do it like that. And, what then? I can fix that. Yes, sure. I think I would need to, like, go the upper path. See, this is what I mean, right? Like, this incentives exploration, like, you getting better at the game. Okay, so, like, you'll go from here. I would get in this land so that I can restart the water run. From here, to here, to here, which would lead me to here. Okay, and then I can like probably skip this. That's kind of awkward too, like the dolly camera. It's nice to have it. I definitely want to add it to like something like Daybreak eventually, but you know, I'm not all the way there. There's, it's funny. Oh fuck, I restarted. It's funny. Demo 2 is already such a big departure from Demo 1, and I'm not saying that Demo 3 is going to be the same, but there's a lot of stuff from Demo 2 that's going to change. Many overhauls, you know, stuff like that. Fuck. What was this Japanese lyric cover of Emerald Coast? That cover was fun, man. I really liked it. Even all these years later, I still have it in my head. Are these like actually interactable? Yes, see there. Can I like get on this one? Can I get on that one? Can I aim? Oh my god. I can't get on that one, okay. Sonic fan games don't need to be the most balanced thing ever. Something that, like, you know, I feel especially Sonic Twitter obsesses a lot is that, like, oh, this is not balanced, this is not that, this is not this. Can we just have fun? I don't care if this is balanced. I care if I'm having fun. Right? Yes, you can make an argument about, like, an official game not being balanced. But, like, this isn't a competitive shooter or something like that. This is a single-player campaign of, like, a game. Of, like, a linear game. Does balance really matter? Right? Yes, of course, like, if you're a dev and you don't want your level design to be trivialized, yeah, sure, man. You can balance that. And, like, neat little things, like, you know, spam dash and other stuff. I feel like it's neat. I like it. Let's go the lower route this time, actually. I feel like I can get a better time in here if I go the lower route. Reserve the water run and you know, manage to get to the other side, because the upper path is, funnily enough, slower in this case because you don't get enough momentum. The springs are too slow for, like, you know, to actually, like, give me an advantage. So what I'm gonna do, you know, fuck off. Wow. I really like the shading, the shaders for the elemental shields in Project Zero, by the way. They're really nice. Okay. I might make a video about this later, or just a Twitter post. I say a Twitter post, but like nobody sees that. Whoa. Because, you know, I feel like we need to bring a bit of, like, positivity into the mix. This is definitely, like, not bad. You know, it has its charm. Okay, let me try to see how to figure this out. It has its charm, and, like, you know, it's an amateur project. I'm pretty sure that this is Stelmo's first project. You can make an argument for beats, but, you know, I think the only reason this got, like, big, or well, not big, but like a lot of people looked at it at all, it's because it's Project Hero, right? Again, Project Hero has a chokehold and a collective memory of the Fang game community. It's not even funny. So, you know, it being this big, you know, it makes sense to an extent. Oh, fuck off. That was pretty nice, actually. I really like how I changed the movements there. Yes, there's a lot of spanning, whatever. I have fun having that. Leave me alone. I'm a simple creature that is pleased with ease. Can I make it? No. I need water. I haven't stopped talking, but I don't have water right now. Water's cut because a pipe blew off. So that's fun. Blows up? Wow! Shit. Oh hey, that actually worked. Alright, let's see if I do it from over here. And bingo. See, that was easy. Okay. And hey, that was a pretty nice chain of movements. Can I make it in 5 seconds? Absolutely the fuck not. But I think I'll just... Oh, okay. How am I supposed to handle that section? Hold on. Oh, hey, yeah, that works actually. I can wait for people to like tie a bunch in Daybreak Demo 2. I really want to see people's reactions when they get the F rank with Shadow. That's going to be fun. There's some new stuff in Daybreak Demo 2. I ended up talking more about that than the actual game. I just don't really have much to say about this, you know? It's neat. The physics are good, but that's partly because it's Project Hero. What can be said that hasn't been said? The visuals, at least of Emerald Coast, are nice. I feel like we could be doing a lot better, you know, especially in 2026, with, you know, better screen space effects, shaders, textures, right? It's weird. It's fine. Not really. Okay. Not really any strong feelings. This reminds me a lot of Stage Collection. But, you know. I'll have to see how the other stages look. I will say that I feel like it's a general, like, downgrade. In terms of visuals, Sonic looks worse in this demo compared to the 2019 demo. Somehow. Right? At least in my opinion. He looks more flat. Some of the shading from the OG demo is just gone. You know? Unless I'm misremembering things. Again, we could be doing a lot better. And I feel like the way that this has been branded as like this massive thing, which I guess because of its Project Hero, but like looking at this on its own, not because of the legacy of Hero, right? Just as a fan game, right? What does ReWired bring to the table on its own? I don't think that it brings a lot. This has been done too bad, especially ports. The fan game community really likes to do ports, and for good reason, right? We all want to see like our favorite stages in a neat new way. I've even done it myself. Hell, if I didn't do ports of like old stages, I wouldn't be where I am now, because those old stages taught me how games work, right? How their visuals are done, how, for example, backlighting, right? I cannot see shit, I cannot see shit. Why is the audio spatialized? What the fuck? Why is the audio spatial? Why is the music spatialized? That was weird. Okay, let me retry this. I was so close, man. If I don't get the dev time in this stage, I think I'll probably drop it. The idea of like getting it at least in this stream, you know. And I want this stream to be like a chillax stream. I got stuff to do tomorrow, so you know, a small little thing before I need to suffer. You know, neat stuff. Am I soft-locked again? Oh my god. Hello? What? Okay, we're good. Damn, that's such a whiplash. Genuinely, I was so accustomed to like seeing the bright-ass Emerald Coast that the muted lighting of the test stage like genuinely gave me whiplash. Jeez, that was fun. Boy. And great. Yeah. You know, that's kind of one of the things. I remember that, you know, again, people saying, oh, this is so easy, no skill involved, blah blah blah. Fucker tried to get the dev time. Even, I'm having a hard time, and I consider myself to be fairly nice at, like, playing video games. I'm not, like, the master of it. But, you know, I think I'm pretty good. So, you know, seeing people say, oh, this doesn't require any skill. 1 out of 10, this is horrible. No. Try to get the same time as the dev times. I'm having a rough time having that. Like, just trying to. The physics are nice. Come on. There we go. And... No, no! Okay, let me see how I can handle this section. No, this... Okay, Okay, well, yeah. Oh, that's funny. The collision is not 1-to-1. Stelmo did mention in his video that, Beats wrote what's essentially a complex collision, mesh handler. So, I wonder if, what they did was added the models instead of Stelmo is just like not knowledgeable enough to like know what they actually did. Oh, there we go. Okay, how am I gonna handle this? Do we like spin jump from here? Oh yeah, actually. What? Also, I want to mention, I feel like the classic Sonic elitist, whatever, I cannot speak, sub-community is probably fuming because of this, and because, you know, we had the 2021 version, so it's like, oh, why did they decompile that? Or, oh, like, this is a disgrace to hear, or blah blah blah, you know? Which, you know, I guess, bro. That group genuinely feels so annoying. Like, I get a lot of their talking points, but like, the thing is that they impose it over everybody else, and they're like, why wouldn't you want this? I don't know, simple preference? Maybe. That's a valid reason for me. I consider different things fun. Me personally, I don't like classic Sonic games. They're nice, but I don't have fun with it. Why? I'm just... 2D platformers are not exactly my genre, right? But the 3D Sonics I really like. And I know that, like, there's a lot of people out there like me that are like, yeah, I guess it's fine, like, the 2Ds are there. I don't care about them. Right? And again, that, like, mentality of, like, shoving it into people's throats of, like, oh, but, like, this and that, and, like, I don't care. I want to have fun with, like, you know, my personal preferences. Why should I cater to you specifically, you know? And that applies to a lot of things. Also, this is funny. I think the way that they coded the light speed dash is that they have, like, a beginning and an end, and depending on what is the quote-unquote beginning and what is the quote-unquote end, you get either thrown, you know, forward or backwards. Yeah, man, I guess. That's a... I wouldn't personally do that because, well, as y'all have seen, I've done it. Like, there have been times that, you know, I'm like, specifically in the lighthouse section, I'm trying to get a light speed dash to, like, get over a specific section faster, and it just happened to me a few deaths ago. It threw me back at it. Like, it threw me back and completely disrupted my momentum. See? It just happened again. Why? Why are you like that? Why would you do that? That's not okay. But, yeah. Okay. Yep, that works. That works. Fuck. Okay. That was actually pretty good. Oh my god, yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, stop. No, 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 no! That camera is so annoying, dude. Genuinely so annoying. I've been at this end tool for 2 hours. Mind you, I have only played 2 stages. If you don't count the tutorial. If you count it, 3. But, you know. I don't think I'd be doing this if I didn't have fun. Just neat little thought. Ow. Actually, now that I think about it, something I could do, no reason in particular, just like as a self-exercise, a remake of Emerald Coast from like, you know, ground up, redoing textures and whatnot, because Emerald Coast I feel like is one of those stages that it's definitely not as, it doesn't have the same complexity as something like Camelot Castle of Black Knight, which, believe it or not, has a bunch of texture sets. And since, you know, it has more stuff that you would expect, the light baking process is a bit of a pain to do. But, you know, it's something that you could, like, definitely iterate on. And add a bunch of stuff to, like, make it look pretty, right? Uh-oh. Actually, can I... No, hold on. Why does the frame rate dip when I press the restart like menu? Oh yeah, I actually can. Let me try that in the next run. See, that's fun. Like, discovering things that you can do. It's fun. It's neat. And I just didn't do it at all. Oh my god, oh my god. Hey, that was pretty good actually. There we go. See, that's fun. And I shaved 2-3 seconds. Doesn't need to be the most perfect thing to be fun, to be good. Right? At the end of the day, the fanging community does all of this for the love of the franchise, not to prove a point. And I feel like that's what's wrong with, like, especially Sonic Critter. Everything they do is genuinely just to prove a point. Can we all just, like, have fun, please? I'm not gonna make it to the death time. I was close, though. Fuck off! Okay. No, we good. Can we just have fun? I don't feel like it's necessary to be, like, the most perfect person ever. Okay. No. What stage is this? I have 2 people watching. Who could those 2 people be? Oh, it's this stage. Okay, I'm actually really excited about this stage. Why can't I move? It's a port of PO6 mod stage. And it's something that I feel like can definitely work with what Project Beer is trying to do. That's funny, the collision of the water sun. I'm not particularly a fan of the visuals. There's a very distinct lack of global illumination and stuff in general. But, you know. And, you know, we have that classic Unity terrain that looks polygonal as fuck. But it's neat. Whoops. Let me actually, like, enjoy this. Because it's genuinely so fun just to, like, see it. I don't remember if this is, like, the actual Frontier asset, or I remember Octi, this the creator of SFF or Sonic Fan Fest, And back in the day, he was a game developer. I used to work with him, and he worked in some stuff like Wilds and some other stuff. I know that he made a model of the... Oh yeah, those are definitely... No, I don't actually... I don't actually know. Of the... back when Frontier was first revealed, a model of like the circle thingies, right? That's a neat little exercise. And I know that some projects ended up using, I think, Sonic Impact, that concept project from Chaos X, used it. I'm not sure. That model, the adventure pack made by Noji, I've also used it. You know, and these models look very similar. So yeah, anyways, let me actually play the stage. I'm feeling a little bit of lag, I would say, which is surprising because, you know, I have a fairly BPG view and PC in general. But, you know, I guess you can win at all, I guess. Also, the grass looks ugly as fuck, I'm not gonna lie. Well, camera's a bit funky, exposure is bad. The exposure is bad. I always say that the exposure needs to be tuned in a way so that the change is subtle, right? It's not much, and if you really want it to be much, be it for specific sections, right? Not for like the entire thing. And I think that's like something that many game developers in general like miss. They make it like very drastic because in some sections it looks nice, but then you look at like some others and it's really distracting. So you know. Oh, let me actually look at the waterfall. Yeah, it's nice. Not much to say. Yeah, this feels very Unity-ish, right? You have the fucked up terrain, asset pack trees. Why does this have camera collision out of all things? Genuinely. I really like this, how the lava contrasts and whatnot. In general, I like lava sections. I can't wait for y'all to see Daybreak Demo 2. Ooh. You know, it's a bit funny. It's a bit funky. Where am I supposed to go? I think this does fall a bit into the you can get a bit lost category. Also, why is there grass in the walls? Okay, whatever. No, yeah, wait, hold on. Where am I supposed to go? Also, I love this song. Oh boy. Okay, I guess? Let me restart the stage. It's a fun little thing. Okay. Yeah, the grass is kind of ugly. Either you make it big, so that it covers a lot more area. Oh, it's billboard grass. No wonder. That's horrible. That's genuinely horrible. Okay. Okay, yeah. Yeah, it's okay. Yeah, okay, so billboard grass doesn't really work unless it's like racing angles. And even in then, since it's so like the blades are so thin, and the grass texture is so desaturated, but the grass billboard is so saturated, it creates such a bad contrast. The blades are so thin, and like there's also not a lot of it, so it's not great. So you notice the pop-in, yeah, you notice how low density it is. Yeah, sure, you might say, oh, but you're moving fast, so you don't really notice. Son, I'm able to notice even from afar. I would say, yeah, I'm able to notice. It's the same as Frontiers. You're technically moving fast, well, not really, but you get the point. You still notice the pop-in, same concept. That's fun. An environment like this, oh, hey, that's nice. An environment like this is so beautiful. Like, something like this in concept, genuinely, I like it a lot. You know, fuck. Visually speaking, it's a disaster, quite frankly. It falls under a lot of the Unity pitfalls of like, you know, beginner terrain generation. And I feel like it could be done better in something like Blender, you know, so that like everything is more custom made. But this works. This is fun. This is really fun. Oh my god. And you're not necessarily skipping all over the level. Oh my god, this is really damn fun. I really like this. Genuinely, if like the entire game was like this, oh dude. That's this is very like fun. Maybe like zoom out the camera in some places and like work out the actual environment so that it, like, you know where more to go. This is not really such an open stage. This is more linear than anything else. Ah, this is marvelous. I love this. Oh. Oh, never mind, not anymore. Oh my god, dude, they're using SSGI for this stage. Why? Why would you do that? What? Why not bake it at that point? Why? Whoa, whoa. Interactive gameplay, everybody. Yeah, that's pretty bad, not gonna lie. Blank, blank. Oh. And the stage's over. Okay. Fuck off. Hold on, I wanna see if it disappears. Yeah, oh my god, they're using SSGI! Why? I mean, I guess it does explain a bit of why it's so light on, like the game is not demanding, right? The game, well, on disk space, the game is generally not disk space demanding. It's a few megabytes. Compressed, it's like 100 megabytes less than they pick, but that's also exactly my point. You can get away with good. You got the jukebox, okay. You can get away with good. What do you mean 55 seconds? Okay. With good, like, bake GI at a low cost, both RAM and storage. So it really gets nullified by, you know. Hey, can I skip the stage? Nope. Invisible wall. Actually, let me find the breaking point. Where is the invisible wall so that I can speedrun to it? And skip the stage, essentially. You see, this section would be better if it was like if the rendering and lighting and whatnot was done better. Because this ain't it. Where does this even lead to? You already have the opening here, so okay. Okay, so I'm gonna find the end of the invisible wall. See, something like this kind of stage, I had so much fun with this stage. It's not even funny. It felt so freeing. Like, if something like this were to be the first stage of a Sonic game, yeah, I see that working. Right? Genuinely. Man, okay, that's an invisible barrier. They box their invisible walls very well. Hold on. Oh, they're... Okay, no, they're just using the default SSAL. Yeah, man. I like the sound flare. Whoa. Never mind, that's kinda funky actually. Ice change so quick in the feeling. Can I use this? See how dark it got back there? Why would you even allow that? That's not good. Oh, neat! See, something like semi-open like this? I know it can work. Okay, there's sand dunes over there. Okay, definitely not this. Where is the damn... They use this? Oh, I think I can use that! I can definitely use that! Hold on. I know that I can probably squeeze in it. Recreating something like this could be fun. I always thought that like I already saw the I don't remember the name of the stage. Something Archipelago. I've seen it ever since, like, you know, it's PO6 development phases. Well, not development, but like when it released. And I always like found it so like interesting. It's like moody and the environments look so entertaining, I guess would be the word. Like, in concept, this is a very moody and like nice stage, and it could look very good at, you know, it has some of the general like pitfalls from the from any Unity tab that, like, you know, it's not really specialized on, well, not even specialized, like knows how to use the tools to create an efficient visual system without absolutely tanking performance. The only like few games that I've seen circumvent that is, funnily enough, Horizons, but that's also because the art style lends itself, and Strix has been like working to like get stuff, you know, to a point that it's like acceptable. Ah, shucks, I think it has an invisible wall now. Come on, actually. Yeah, it has an invisible wall. God dang it. They boxed up this entire thing very nicely. I'm amazed. How do you get that 55-second depth time? Genuinely wondering. Do I like go over here? Did they forget to put it somewhere? No. Man. Huh. Whoa! Oh no, the way back here. How? Oh. Okay. Yeah, because the gold ring is like right there too. Oh, this is a new little area. Hold on, let me... Do you have anything in here? What are you for? Are you just exploration? Are you giving the false sense of an open zone? Yeah, I think you are. Not much here. Look how dark it gets when there's some bright stuff. Look. And then it goes back up. That's disgusting. I don't like that. I did also struggle back in the day with like making exposure work accordingly. And I came to the conclusion that like everything is in subtleties. Because otherwise, yeah, it's not gonna work. How do you get that 55-second depth time? There's no way that you speedrun all you... Hold on. This stage is... It's not very long. I wish it was longer. But, you know... See, over there, that already... Just getting over there took me already, like, 12 seconds. How am I supposed to get a 55-second run? That's absurd. Okay, buddy. I wonder... Yeah, it would be neat to see if I could recreate something like this in Unreal with my level of expertise. It would also be a nice experiment, you know, more open environment, it has more hills, more dunes. Stuff I can, like, work with, you know? After Demo 2, the entire team's planning to, like, take a break, or at least most of it. You know, take a break, do some other stuff, concentrate on our lives a bit, because me personally, I have like not really taken care of stuff that I should have because of working on Daybreak. But, you know, eventually, I would definitely like to, like, you know, fiddle around with remaking this in higher fidelity, you know? With what I know in Unreal. I know for a fact that something like this can use bakelite, can, like, you know, get stuff out of it. Okay, hold on. This section is definitely not meant to be beaten like I did the other time. So how... Because, like, yeah, look, there's, like, enemies in this section. Let me take it slow for a second. This section looks so good. This looks so interesting. That's the thing. This entire area looks so interesting, man. And like the mix of like moody ambience and like that lava and the crystals. It's very nice. What am I supposed to do here? Not here. Definitely not here. What the hell? Oh my god. No, yeah, wait, genuinely, what am I supposed to do here? Continue slow. I guess, bro. This stage is very fun. I'll praise that. It works really well with the Project Hero framework. I will, you know, growing as a dev, and I want to bring a bit of counterpoint to some arguments that I have seen online about this. Something that I heard a lot is that, oh, this was made without passion, this is love, whatnot. Let me tell you something. If this was a Sonic fangame wasn't made without passion, it genuinely is like something must have happened. Because we're doing this, unless like, you know, you're a scammer or whatnot and gulp Sonic Omens and the entire Patreon shenanigans. You're doing this precisely because you love the franchise. Precisely because you have passion for it. That's the entire point of a fan game, right? Again, Twitter.com, I've seen a lot of people saying that this is love, this is like made without passion. Dude, you don't know what you're talking about. I'm fucking sorry. You just don't. No, I genuinely believe that no Sonic fan game is made with like no passion, right? There's, even if it's a shitty product by, well, yeah, like Omens, and, you know, we all know the drama surrounding it. I'm 100% sure that even just one person in that dev team had this, just a little bit, the tiny teensiest of passion, and it poured all of that into that project, right? We have to consider games like this take a lot of time to make, right? We just don't spawn a fan game out of nowhere, right? Of course, for like the final consumer, for like the players, like, oh, another fan game, woohoo. Fog. But, you know, some of these projects that like are just coming out, some of them have had years of development behind the scenes, right? I got to know Strix, you know, it's funny, because I used to look up to Strix a lot, due to Sonic Horizons, and I really like what he was doing, and nowadays, like, I talk to him, not on a regular basis, but, you know, we talk from time to time, we shared ideas. The other day, I was talking to him about a possible dynamic GI solution for Sonic Horizons. Which is, I'll talk about it later, actually, that's the next thing I'm talking about. But, you know, most of these projects have genuine years of development behind the scenes, right? And the only reason there's such an abundance of them is because, you know, Sonic fans just really like making them. We like experimenting with this damn blue creature, right? Saying that it's love, that it doesn't have passion, is just a blatant lie, right? And to me, it just shows that, like, if you say something like that, I know that you really don't have any idea on how development of things work in general, right? Not just fan games, in general, right? There's not such a thing as a passionless game. Even if it's the most shitty product you've ever consumed, it will have the slightest amount of passion in it. And I can assure you that. Anyways, going back on topic. What? What? Ah, that's funny. Um, does the left bumper do anything? No, no, no. I don't know how the fuck to get that, death time. Ooh, that's rough. Oh yeah, Metal Harbor. I don't like how this stage looks. It's definitely Unity coded, I'll tell you that much. That's a path over there. I definitely seen, like, I remember seeing Stummo's video on this stage and being like, hey, every background object, if you can see it, you can get there, and there's stuff there and whatnot. I'm torn because, yeah, it's cool in concept, but like, does it add anything? Why is there so much damn poppin'? Jeez, not even Emerald Coast, what? There's no way that this stage runs that badly. Oh, Sonyan. Okay. I like the skybox. I feel like the water could use some work to like blend it correctly. Okay, what else? You know, something I will say, I don't know if like the extra paths are that worth it. Yeah, they're neat, but that's about as much as I can say, right? It's not like, do they really add that much into the gameplay? It's neat to have them, and I'm all for like the like if you can see it, you can be there. That's cool, right? Me personally, I prefer like a game that like has a tailor-made experience for me, right? I feel like Forces did irreparable damage to this community, and now any sense of like slight linearity or like hand-holding or like whatnot can be blown out of proportions into how bad it actually is. And like people would be like, oh, that looks like a straight line, wah, and like freak over, and it's like, it's not that deep. I think linearity can work. It's how interactive it is. Right? How am I supposed to get there? No way they put a ring in there. What the? Hold on. Wait, hold on. Can you like get under it? Yeah, but you die instantly. Fuck off. That's actually okay. It's kind of fun actually. You know, going around, you see it, you can go in there, make your own path. I feel like some paths are slower, and you know. Okay. It's neat. Oh. Okay, that's quirky. I've been at this at 2 hours. I think I'm going to like give up trying to get good ranks. And go through each stage and like then I'll unstream because I want to do some other stuff that's not streaming. Especially if this stream involves having one viewer, which is probably me on my other monitor. Lamau. Yeah, man. To an extent, I will say the following. This definitely doesn't feel like the controllers, right? You can definitely tell that these stages were meant for it. You can skip over a lot of stuff, and you know, that's kind of the point, as you can tell by Stelmo's video. And you know. Whoa, what? Oh hey, you got collectibles. Oh, that's actually neat. Are there collectibles in this game? That's fun. How do I switch them? Oh, it's a D-pad. Okay. Okay, I see you. I see you. That's actually fun. You know, it has a little bit of replay value. Maybe like making a UI for it, because like I know the red rings exist. I know that there's the dev time. I didn't know that there were collectibles and like things like skin stuff. Maybe like for each stage, if there's a collectible, put like a question mark, like a circle with a question mark in it. And once you get the collectible, it changes to an icon of the collectible. And once you see that, you will say, oh, those are collectibles. And you will start exploring the stages, right? And an actual incentive, besides the red star rings. I don't really care about the red star rings, especially if they don't really give me anything. They probably give me shadow. But, you know. Again, I wouldn't call this game, like, the future of Sonic. I saw a few people calling it that, and they're just ridiculous. But it's fun. I'm definitely having a lot of fun here. That's neat. Again, things unload a lot. Why does it unload so much? Whoa, this is cool. Sonic's shading is fucked up here, but this is cool. Again, see what I mean by when I say that the visuals could be better? That's neat. What's the dev time? 1 ton. I can definitely get that. Whoops. Okay, I'm gonna try doing the spam. Fuck. The menus feel laggy, I will say. What's up with that? Why whenever you like you open the menu, it's like at an actively lower frame rate than everything else? I miss that. I can definitely make it. And maybe that will give me a better time, because I think I could just skip the loops actually. I think the thing that kills most of the time. Actually, yeah. Let me try to like skip the loops instead. Project Hero has a nice wall stick, by the way. I really like how good like the wall sticking is. You could just be running and boom, you're stuck in the wall. It's neat. It's fun. What else could I talk about? Oh yeah, I did mention earlier that I at one point talked with Strix about a possible dynamic global illumination solution for Horizons. Horizons, it's funny because Unity is not built, especially the high definition pipeline, which is what Horizon uses, mainly because it was built on it just because Strix didn't know better at the time. Right? That's just not made for an open world, even less a foliage-heavy open world. Right? It's a lot, and I know for a fact that Strix has had to do a lot of work to get everything just like running decently. Just look at the grass. There's an entire grass and foliage system to make things work. That's how bad Unity is at that. And because of it, there's like little room left for like global illumination. So there, oh my god, there was at one point a global illumination, like by default there's SSGI, you know, it's kind of noisy, but it also tanks performance. It looks very nice, I'll say. It gives some nice contextualization to the scene and whatnot, but you know, the idea is to have everybody have good performance, and Strix specifically wants everybody to have kind of the same experience, so there's that too. So one of my ideas was world space SSGI. At least that's what I called it at the time. The basic idea is let's grab the camera. Not the camera. The position where the shadow maps are casted, right? Which is the position of the light source. And based on that, we create a buffer, right? We floated the idea of having that buffer being composed in two parts. One is an RGBA texture, with the RGB being the diffuse of the scene from the perspective of the camera, and the A being the shadows. And then there's another texture, which would be the depth texture, right? Just so that we can have the information. No, actually, yeah, kind of. It's not two parts, it's three, my bad. We would have another buffer. Actually, yeah, it can just be two. The RGBA texture that I already said, and an RGB, which is really being just using two channels, which has the depth. No, yeah, I already. Let me restart. I fucking suck at this. RGBA. The RGB is the diffuse from the perspective of the camera, and the A is the shadows from the perspective of the camera. And then another RGBA texture, which would be the normal maps from the perspective of the camera, or well, the shadows technically, and the depth, right, from the perspective of the camera. This would give us like enough information for us to do like something similar to SSGI, but like, you know, on world space, and with maybe cascading. You know, yeah, that's like the basic idea. Funnily enough, I wasn't the first person to think about that. Who would have thought? Okay. Am I missing something about that implementation? No. Turns out that it actually has a name, and it's called reflective shadow mapping. Same concept, literally, basically almost the same of what I described. It's uncannily similar. I don't remember how that algorithm worked. But I remember proposing maybe using spherical harmonics to and some radiance sketching to like figure out the entire thing. And Strix also proposed cascading for the global illumination, so that it's not only like where Sonic is, but like also a bit further into the world. Of course, the oh, that's funny. The main problem with that is that it would be limited to how many light sources supported that at the same time. So, you know, the main source would be the skylight. But if, for example, we wanted to have other sources, we would see how badly it would affect performance, because I'm pretty sure that at that point the calculation would become exponential, and if you know anything about computers, not especially, like computer graphics and computers in general, you do not want exponential stuff, especially if it concerns performance, because it means that performance will get bad, like really damn bad, really damn fast. And you don't want that, because you want your game to run, hopefully. So, you know. Again, all this is in concept. So far, nothing has really been like materialized into anything, but you know, it's nice to talk about it. It's fun. It's like harmless fun. Oh my god. Yeah, and I wouldn't make that in 10 seconds. I need to somehow skip a good chunk of the level. How would I do that? Okay, we're balling, we're lucky balling. What if I like... Actually, yeah, that could work. Instead of like going to the left and like losing a bunch of time because I don't know what the fuck I'm doing there with the slide parts, I can continue forward and go into that island, which seems to have stuff in it, which I can then use to get a better time. Sounds like a plan. Son. Sonyan Bronacho. That's awkward. You know, for a per try collision solution, it sure doesn't look like it to me. Not gonna lie, Spider-Man, I think your J's are fake. What? Okay. Oh my god, yes. Or could it? No, that's definitely like 3D model. Yeah, that's just annoying. Sonyan. Why are we straight up lying? This is not a triangle collision solution. We're straight up lying now. Okay, okay. Nice. Nice. Fuck off. Fuck you. But yeah, that... Okay, that works. That works. That actually really works. I could probably use that to skip a lot. I just need to, like, make sure that I get stuck. And, we should have our first step time rank. I'm genuinely wondering how some of those ranks, like, were achieved. You know, as a dev, you tend to, like, get really good at the game that you're making, which is why playtesters exist. Because they're not good at your own game, so they're able to give you, like, actual unbiased feedback. Fuck my life. So, you know, I really wonder how the process... Stelmo said in his video that, like, it was, like, times that he got. So, that'll be fun to see. Okay, we're good. No, 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 no! I said this once, I'll say it again. I think this project is a bit overhyped. It feels nice to play, but it definitely ain't it. There's way better projects out there. But again, a lot of it comes just from the legacy that Hero left with, like, his impact. It was just a singular demo, and that thing exploded. One can't deny, like, the impact that, like, Hero has on the fangame community. How am I going to make this? He really was the first to popularize the this type of momentum framework, right? And ever since, like, a lot of the popular fan games have been working to essentially perfect this and, like, put it in an actual game. Sonic GT, Sonic Horizons, even Daybreak. In one way or another, we're continuing the legacy, if that makes sense. Fuck off. That, you know, Hero left with the project, and just how much stuff was in there. I messed up. Also really like the particles on the collection for the rings. That works. That works, all right. Now that I'm skipping a lot in this stage, I want to bring up something real quick, right? I'm gonna take off the goggles of, like, you know, we're making this for fun. Like, think a little bit about, like, an actual game developer, you know, with that needs to make sales expectations and Oh, that's how you change that's funny. The music. Uh-oh, 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 uh-oh. There we go. What was I talking about? Oh, yeah. Skipping is fun, right? And I'm having fun. This is a very fun stage, actually. Right, and I won't deny that. Something I will give Saki and Sonic, our level designer for Sonic Favorite. In his video about the game, which I have a personal vendetta, by the way, because it made so that everybody thinks that Lorenzo Pace is the one that's in charge of the visuals, when no, that's me! That's me! But, something that he said, and I do agree with, is that I need to stomp there, actually. I forgot that that's an ability. If you can just skip the main path, right? And that is faster than the main path, with ease, mind you, then it's no longer, it's no longer a shortcut, that's just the main path, right? For an actual game, if a game were to be made with Project Hero, that's definitely something that needs to be taken into account. Actually, I could skip the loop if I do that, now that I think about it. I need to time it correctly. Right. I think Daybreaks mitigated that fairly well, especially for Demo 2. Which, again, so excited for everybody to play it and, like, just to, like, look at it, even if you don't end up enjoying. I hope that, like, people can appreciate the artistic intent behind it. There's some stuff that I'm not particularly happy, especially Neo Aquate, which is funny because it's the new stage, but, you know. We're definitely getting there, and, yeah, I don't know what else to say. Oh my god, I've been playing this game for so long, dude. What is there? Not much. Let me... yeah. Whoops. I wonder how Hero feels about this. I know that, like, he disappeared because I think he's in the military of his country due to, like, mandatory service or something like that. I heard it from somebody. There's no confirmed source. Don't come after me, pretty please. But, like, I wonder how people feel about this. I think Beats and Hero used to, like, talk to each other. So, if he's aware, I would assume it would, like, you know... Whoops. At least he knows about it. But I really can't guarantee anything, honestly. I just hope he doesn't take an issue in this. I know that this wasn't his vision. His vision was a classic Sonic game that can be very well seen in the last demo, essentially, the 2021 build. But you know, as I've grown as a game developer, I've come to appreciate even what's in ugly games, right? The artistic intent, the musical direction, the art direction, the visuals, the gameplay, right? Because all of that has its own merits, and things can go wrong in game development, especially in like cooperative game development, where you have deadlines, investors, timelines, stuff to meet, right? It's not as simple as just like saying, oh, I'm gonna make a fan game. and it's just magically going to like materialize. That's just not how it works at all, right? And I think people tend to forget that simply out of like ignorance. People don't know what they're talking about because they haven't experienced it, which, you know, I wish people were more understanding. They weren't so quick to jump the gun. But then again, the final consumer doesn't need to know a lot of stuff, right? As far as the final consumer is aware, you're selling them a finished product, right? So, you know. This is what happens when I talk to myself with nobody around. Fucking send help. I am playing a game, said Olmec, and then he left. He never returned. How could you, Olmec? You know, I've gone back a bit into streaming recently, just because it's fun to like play while I'm talking to myself and hopefully see people coming along. And definitely if like more people were to like see me stream and whatnot, I would definitely like stream more, you know, have an actual audience to talk to and not just myself. I look like a schizophrenic on the outside. There's not even a chat just to speak of, so I fucked up. I don't remember. Does Project Hero have Coyote time? I think it does. Oh yeah, also, we added Coyote time in Daybreak Demo 2. Have fun with that. No! Actually, let me try to get the timing of that correctly. Oh, I can just do that. Okay, if I like say the if I save the how's whatchamacallit, the air dash, I can probably make it through. That's neat. You know, I will say it's cool that a game that we only really saw in test stage form, and the next version was radically different and with a somewhat better, well, not better, but like more level designed test stage, right? It's nice seeing it like get like a bit more of quote-unquote finished treatment, even though, you know, that's clearly not what it is. But like, you know, there's stuff to play, I guess is my point. It's neat seeing it. It's nice seeing like people come together and like play it, right? Fangame history was, yeah, it was technically made today, right? Just because of the importance, but rather than like being the future or something like that, I think it's more like the closure of a chapter. Fuck off! I hate that so much. I was right there, but I didn't press forward. That's actually so infuriating. Oh my god. Okay, I'm gonna try to get it again. I know I can do this one. You know? It's not the future. It's rather the end of an era. And I think we're entering a strange era, right? Because we are entering the era of absurd amounts of quality, right? Project Reignition, PO6, not Project Hero, Daybreak to an extent, Horizons. all of these games, right, are in a way of speaking, right, absolutely fucking baller, right? Um, the amount of quality that they're showing, even like just the remakes, right? It's a lot to undertake, right? So we're entering this like era where the tools are there and like the expertise is also starting to be more widely available, right? There's some really impressive devs out there, right? So in the next few years we're going to see what I believe is like the final form of like the Project Hero isms, if that makes sense, right? The momentum gameplay, story, stuff like that, right? More finished actual products instead of just the what I like to call the test stage era, right? Which is definitely neat, right? We're finally seeing something out of all of these years of saying Sega hired this man and it's just a test stage with neat physics. But you know, there's also the other side of the coin that because of that, I feel like the fangin community is starting to treat fan games, things that at the end are made out of passion, and trying to like see the vision of the individual game dev out as official games, right? As something that like should be criticized as such, right? Even though they're completely like different circumstances, right? Just because of their nature. And I see this a lot on Twitter. It's like that hate towards fan games because either it's not what the person wants, right, the consumer, or it's not the quote-unquote ideal Sonic. This goes again to the fact that I say, can we just have fun? It's genuinely not that deep. And I don't know. I feel it's toxic. And we could be doing better as a community. Anyways, first dev time. That's neat. The next stage is Kingdom Valley, ain't it? Holy shit, yeah, it actually is! Yeah, no, actually, hold on. Okay. Parallax occlusion mapping. It's this technique which we're basically distorting the UVs of a texture to fake the depth effect. I think every texture needed this, except this one. Well, not every texture, but like... No, it's the only texture with it, and it looks fucking ugly. Because it looks like glass. It looks like there's a layer behind it, and it doesn't extrude upwards, it extrudes inwards. I don't like it. Yeah. I'm gonna give up trying to get the dev times, because I spent way too much time on that. Okay, let me kill everybody here. Oh! Okay, I think I need to break the boxes by a stump. That's... okay. Okay, yeah, oh! That's neat. This is definitely... it's funny, Sonic 06 has done so much in the public consciousness that, like, in a way has transformed the way people see 06, right? Even though the game is still bad. Also, see what I mean about parallax occlusion? No, it doesn't work. At least, it really doesn't work. Like, if you're doing parallax occlusion, it should be subtle. Not like that. And also, I think the textures are way too low res to actually work. But anyways, going back into topic. PO6 has done so much for the public consciousness of 06 that, you know, there's people that like now consider 06 to be a fairly good game, despite it not being good, right? Let's cut the BS. 06 is not a good game. Doesn't matter that it had potential. Yes, so does Silver. Look at him for the past forever. He's a husk, a thing. Yeah, man. Not even mortal. So, you know, it doesn't matter how much potential something might have. Does it meet that potential? Because I'm buying a game, and that game is selling itself on the fact that it's good. Right? Not that it has potential. Right? So... Fuck. In a way, right? Now, when you think about Sonic 06, you don't think about Sonic 06, you think about PO6, because it's just so good. And like, the damn thing has its own wiki page, right? You don't... That doesn't happen overnight, want it or not. Fuck. Fuck. So, you know... Come on, man. When I saw that they were adding Kingdom Valley, I thought to myself, huh, are they doing the PO6 version, or are they doing the 06 version? They're doing the 06 version, why can I tell the skybox? In PO6, the skybox is set to, you know, daytime, right? And it progressively gets darker until rain be rainy. This is cloudy, like in Retail 06, right? It's, you know, it's fine. Not really complain, but, you know, kinda funny to think about. Fuck up. Oh yeah, also, Memphis, Tennessee is here. It's funny. He repeats the same laugh over and over again. I saw that in the fucking tweet. It's so awkward, dude. Oh, I killed myself. Marvelous. That's so neat, dude. That the fucking gun hunters? No, the I don't remember. No, not gun hunters. The egg gunner that can blow boxes, and like that is a cool thing. I love that. Right? It's a neat little thing, but you know, when you start to get a bit older and whatnot, I think you like start appreciating the small details too. Yes, you can have fun and like just say, oh, it's not there, well, I don't mind it. But like small little details do really come together. I need a water. My throat is dry as fuck. Uh-oh. I can probably just skip that. No. These stages were definitely not thanked for it, and it's a bit awkward, but I don't mind it. I don't really like Sonic Shader, I'll say, though. It looks washed out and shit. Yes, you know. I'm not one to complain, I guess. Well, I am, but you know. Okay, let me retry this. Yeah. The momentum physics are nice too. It's a bit hard, but I say it's a bit too much, but you know. I in general would nerf a bit this Sonic because here's the thing. Project Hero is nice and all, and like the framework's nice, but like a framework is meant to be built on top of. You're meant to make things around that framework. So if you put stages from a game that's clearly made to, you know, be slower, more methodical, and whatnot, you're gonna run into some issues, right? In here it's mainly that like me, because I consider myself to be fairly decent at video games. At least I would hope so. But like your regular Joe, right? Sonic is already such a case where general audiences have such a hard time like just grasping its mechanics. Just because it's Sonic, it goes too fast, levels are too abstract. It's not intuitive at first, right? Which, me personally, I call BS, but you know, then you realize that the average Joe is actually kind of dumb. The shadows here look wrong. Also, oh, the parallax occlusion mapping in this section is not that bad actually. I like it. Yeah, the shadow in there looks wrong. I feel like there should be a shadow over all the way over here, and yeah, like somewhere around here. And why is it gold? Why is this like if it was midday? What was I talking about? I completely forgot. Oh, hey, hold on. Are those the Shadow Gen models? Yeah, those are actually Shadow Gen's models. Those are neat. Whoops, whoops. Yeah, let me just skip this real quick. Oh yeah, your average Joe is like not going to like be able to keep up, period. Just due to how like things are. Why is the lighting like this? Why is this so ugly? Oh my god, it's like midday ugly, and like it doesn't make sense. It's a complete disconnect of like the thing. Maybe the wind texture could have gotten a bit more emissive. It's not bright at all, especially in these light conditions. Again, even in the original, it's supposed to be moody, rainy here, and the skybox doesn't even reflect the current lighting, so it's just an ugly disconnect. Oh yeah, that was a thing. I completely forgot about it. Ah, so that's what L2 and left bumper are for. Oh yeah, I can just skip this because there's no automation. You know, automation is nice, especially in set pieces like this. In my humble opinion, in my humble adobe. What happened? Why? Okay, whatever. Again, the controls are very smooth. So, you know, that's a plus. I would also tone down a bit the motion blur. I remember back in the OG project here, it wasn't that much motion blur. Yes, it had it, but not in the same amount, not even close. Is there like a magnetizing thingy? What's up with that? I'm not going there, I'm going the regular route. Actually, I am going there. Never mind, I guess. Oh, there's extra gameplay. Uh-oh, uh-oh, uh-oh. Moving on. I like that there's a form of progression. You know, it's not something that we see every day in a Sonic fan game. Usually, most of them are just not complete enough to have progression. So, it's nice seeing some. Even if it's in this, like, rustic manner, which is just unlocking stages. I am... Ugh. Why is my English so fucked up recently? That's funny. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. How do you guys think that the next Sonic game's gonna look? Crossworlds, I always think like the next game as an indication, like the DLC, and if there's a spin-off, the spin-off as an indication on how the team is gonna work. Crossworlds is not giving me hope, dude. Oh my god, it's not even funny. Like, okay, Final Horizons. Yeah, it's Final Horizons. The thing with Final Horizons is that in terms of gameplay, not great. It's literally a fucking Roblox hobby. Visuals, it's Default Frontiers, and Default Frontiers doesn't really look good in my opinion, especially for the 2026 game, 24 technically. We could do so much better, and like the art, like if you say, oh, but like in technicalities because of the Switch, if your art style makes it difficult to run, maybe we should accommodate so that the game can still look pretty, right? I believe Frontiers does neither. And it becomes even worse when you realize they're literally using Quixel Mega Scans, meaning that their art style was an open source library of scans. When Frontiers released a few days later, somebody in the Dash Engine Discord server was like, I found the Frontiers rock texture. Lo and behold, yes, it was the Frontiers texture, just like slightly unedited. They slightly edited. Slightly. So, you know. Uh-oh, uh-oh. Fuck off. And, you know, there's the fact that, like, Frontiers didn't have budget, right? And in theory now Sonic Team has a decent budget and way more stuff. I'm not sure in the numbers, but you know, they are. Son. But then you look at Crossworlds, and I'm pretty sure that like some of the assets used in Crossworlds are gonna be translated over, or well, rather were translated from the next game to Crossworlds. Why did I say that? There's no fucking way if you're reusing assets from so much stuff, right, that you put the amount of effort for something like Steampunk City or the Golden thing capital. I don't know the name. I don't even think it's ever said. No, actually, yeah, it's sad, but I don't remember. Point is, right? That looks very cool. It's a very pretty stage. And it has a lot of detail, and I seriously doubt that unless you, like, especially coming from Sega, unless they're actually going to use that in some capacity soon-ish, I seriously doubt that they would just put it there, like, make it just for that. We're no longer in the writer's era, or whatever, right? Where original concepts like that were kind of not common, but there were they definitely happen more, right? Every game felt fresh. It's just something that doesn't happen with Sonic nowadays. And it's also funny, because there's also the chance that it doesn't happen, again, not because the games are bad. The games are selling, technically, and we're definitely in a better place compared to Boom, or, how's this called? Lost World, right? We're definitely out of that, and the games are not bad. At all. But that doesn't really mean anything when Sega is putting, as far as we know, absurd sale expectations. So even though, you know, Crossworlds is selling relatively well, it didn't meet expectations. It would be so fucking funny if, because of that, Sega's like, oh, actually, it's not worth to invest in Sonic franchise, so we're pulling all the investments, and it's like, son, what do you mean you want your game to sell 7 billion copies? When it's a racing game, not even a single player, it quite honestly looks like trash, which I'll get into it soon. And just overall, most of your player base, like not even like general audience, right? Like player base from Sonic fans, think that your game is not even worth paying unless it's a discount. That tells you something. That genuinely tells you something about the quality of the game that you're putting out, right? Yes, Sonic fans will consume mostly anything that you present them with, but they still have some amount of brain. Don't even think that they're brainless. A lot of them are really, like, smart, incredible people. Right? So, there's that, right? And then there's the fact that Crossworlds doesn't look good. It's weird, because, like, Crossworlds is such a 50-50. There's stages like the Egypt golden thingy that I believe look genuinely stunning. I really like it, and like the vibe is immaculate. And then we have Seaside Hill. Oh my god, Seaside Hill looks horrendous. Genuinely no sense of backlighting. The shadows are fucked up since they're using the regular single layer water that doesn't support backlighting or like any form of far shadow casting, so they don't really have a good way to like hide the shadows and whatnot, like loading in, and that's very noticeable. Really noticeable. You know, stuff like that. I also have my complaints about shadow gens. It's not really great. And stuff like that. Things that like Sonic Generations, right? A 2009, I believe, game on the 360 managed to get right, which is fuck off. Which is global illumination, right? Even in its relatively like compared to nowadays, I wouldn't say primitive, but like definitely less than stellar, right? We have way better baked GI solutions nowadays. It looked pretty damn good. Genuinely, like Unleash, like, say whatever you will about the game and whatnot, Unleash is such a technical marvel just because of how it looks. Yes, it ran like shit. Dude, it doesn't fucking matter, that game looks better than the entire 360 catalog. Fight me. Right? Even like now that like we have recompiled and we can see it at like more than 1080p, or well, 480p more accurately. Damn, dude, that game looks good. Really damn good. It has so much sauce, so much direction, so much immersion, right? Which is something that I really value out of like the games, that you can immerse yourself in the location that you're in, right? There's just so much of that over there. And then we have Shadow Gens, or Crossworlds, and I'm like, the originals were better. Genuinely, right? Like, okay, let's look at Shadow Gens, right? Space Colony Arc looks desaturated. Another issue with not only Shadow Gens, this can be attributed to like modern games nowadays. It looks so bland, genuinely. If you compare it to like the OG Space Colony Arc, the OG Space Colony Arc had like, you know, these like it just had a way more like blue to it, if that makes sense. The colors were more saturated. Everything popped more. Meanwhile, in Shadow Gens, it's almost great. It's almost going to the grave. They fucked up Rail Canyon. In general, I think the textures look ugly. Global illumination is pathetic at best. You know, stuff like that. And again, it's a 2026 game, and it has performance issues. Why? Because of the Nuvo and some other stuff. Then there is, what's the next one? It was Space Colony Arc, Rail Canyon. The Biolizard is nice. Not like you could go like horribly wrong there, but you know. Kingdom Valley is tragic, dude. They like got rid of all the lighting out of it, right? It's not nearly as interesting. Genuinely, I know it's a fan project, but PO6 looks miles better. There's just not much that I can say, oh yeah, this looks good. No, nothing comes up to mind, really. What else? What else? There is, which one? Sunset Heights. First of all, why Sunset Heights? Genuinely, why Sunset Heights? Like, do you had a contract with it? And okay, let's look at Sunset Heights. They also took out the color of it. It's more desaturated compared to Horses. I prefer the textures, granted. Not the texture. Yeah, the textures are high quality, and the particle work is genuinely immaculate in my opinion. No fucking way. But you know, in terms of like color correction and lighting, yeah, it could be better. And the next that I'm going to say is for all of the stages. What are we doing with global illumination? Even like, genuinely, where is it? I swear that there's no more like good global illumination. Everything looks so damn flat now. So yeah. What else? Chaos Island. It's fine. I like the lava, right? It's really easy. Like, it makes such a good contrast. Like the lava with the black of the stone, right? I wish there was more of it. But you know, it's not an aesthetic I dislike, and you can't really go wrong with it because you don't really get much global illumination out of something that's already black, you know? It's because like what you will get as a result is just another black fucking black texture. Please. Okay, whatever. And it also confuses me there's no Shadow 5, but you know, that's an entirely different discussion. And then there's Radical Highway. It's fine. It's easy to like fake because most Radical Highways take place in night or in rain. There's only one that takes in day. That one looks fine. It still looks flat as fuck, but you know. And the ones that take place in the night also are usually raining and whatnot. So you can rely on SSR to give you a bit more contextual information and depth. And you don't really need to like do a lot of heavy GI calculations because it's dark already. Like, you can't add what isn't there, if that makes sense. Can you go faster, please? And that's one part, right? Shadow Gens definitely had like a generous amount of like development time. Definitely not a lot. It was probably made in like a year, right? And then they slapped Sonic Generations to like justify it for the people to buy the game. And you know, I do appreciate at the end of the day because it unironically gave us the framework for the best modding tools, you know. Just look at Shindash and Project N. Those modding tools wouldn't be a thing without Frontiers and Shadow Gems, right? Because both games essentially reenacted what Generations and Unleashed did years ago. Those games gave enough information on behind the scenes to actually know how to mod it properly, right? Then there is Crossworlds. Actually, let me try to beat this stage first, and then I'll talk about Crossworlds. Because I have my gripes with it, especially the I'm gonna talk about the new stages, the DLC stages. Specifically the Evangelion and Godzilla lab stages, because oh boy do I have a lot to say about them. Right, especially since it's running in UE5. Which, you know, people say, oh, UE5 slop, and like, there's like this negative stigma now towards UE5 games. UE5 is fine, any Unreal Engine version is fine, really. It's just that you need to know how to use them, right? Because if you're like your average Joe, which just imports stuff from like Quixel Megascans or like asset packs, don't create your own assets, don't have your own statistic, yeah. It's not gonna work, right? And even if you're just trying to do realism, there's layers to being realistic, right? Realism has its complexity. And you need to make that realism look appealing to the eye. Because, well, guess what? Real life is not fucking appealing. So, you know. That on one hand. And just even look at Daybreak, right? People really praised the graphics of Demo 1, which, funnily enough, I despise now. Demo 2's graphics are so much better. And I'm really excited for people to see it, dude. It's not even funny. One of the things that I'll say is that... oh. There we go. Is that... yes, I've added the engine to an extent to make a better use of, like, not only its tools, but, like, updated a little bit with, like, modern-day tech, right? GTAO, better SSR, stuff that you would regularly see in more updated engines, and, like, something like, I don't know, Frostbite, which is what every EA in-house developer uses, right? You know, update that to have like better graphics, right? But still, it wasn't something that required me to like go into source code and like change a bunch. No, it were tweaks in reality, right? Tweaks, and like for the Lightbaker specifically, shout out to Lushuang, I think Epic ex-developer, which made a custom Lightbaker, the Daybreak Lightbaker, which I lovingly call Iris, is essentially a fork of the Lushuang Lightbaker. Of course, edited to be a bit faster since we have stages that are ginormous. But you know. So you know, a bit of that needed to be like edited. Damn, this feels kinda slow, what the hell? No wind sound effects, okay. But, you know, it were things that you can do. If I could do it, you can do it, right? It takes a bit of tinkering and goofing around with the engine, fucking around and finding out, restarting 7 times because you fucked up the noise function, and now you created the second coming of the sun. But you know, it's stuff that you can do. And you cannot bring me the excuse of like, oh, but they needed to port Crossworld into Switch, and it's the only UEFI game that runs good. No. We can do way better than that. We did way better than that. Over a decade ago. So, you know. Yeah, this section feels slow as fuck, actually. The Lightspeed dash fucks it up too. What's the dev time? Thanks for playing. There's more to find. Look for the next portal ring. Press Alt-T... What? Oh. So you unlock those. Okay. I don't think I have the patience to look for him. At least not right now. I might do it later. What was... Why did it freeze? Hello? Why did it freeze? What happened? What happened? What happened? What happened? What happened? Oh my god, it actually just fucking broke. Okay, whatever, I guess. Damn, okay. Let me talk about the show what I mean about Crossworlds. I mean, like, close Project Hero. Ba 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 ba. And put some music in the meantime. Let's where is this promotional image? Let me load this a bit. I'm just gonna get it from a gaming outlet. I'm too lazy to look for the official Sega post. Oh, I know, there it is. That loaded faster, Lamau. Okay. Lower down the music. So, here's the thing about Crossworlds. I generally think that it's a fundamental misuse of Unreal Engine. Besides, you know, Unreal being easy to iterate. Let's look at this image for a second. There's so much wrong with it. Okay, so first of all, this is supposed to be a destroy city. You have motherfucking Godzilla in here. Let's just look at Godzilla for a second. He looks like shiny plastic. That doesn't look like, not even skin, like scales. Right? The tongue, like, and something that also happens a lot with Crossworlds is that the shadowing on characters is non-existent. So if we see here, the tongue is getting lit up by the sun when this should be dark, right? And looking at like some of these images, like the mood is not there at all. This doesn't feel like the destroyed city. It just feels like San Francisco at sunset, with like some cars randomly in there and some debris. But that's about it. What happened to the particle world, dude? It was so nice in Shadow Gens. What happened? And I think it's the same texture, but it's so misutilized here. Like, and despite, you know, the entire like side of this building getting got to move off, like just gone. There's barely any debris or like grunge in the texture. This looks brand new. The entire city looks brand new. except for the fact that there's like chumps. But like, at that point, I feel like Godzilla just like took a bite out of him, and that's it, and left him pristine. Where's the vibes? Where's the drama? You know, there's none of it, right? And then we look at oh, and also another thing, no global illumination at all. This feels flat as fuck. No self-shadowing things that could have it done by bake lights, which is funny because I think there's still some bake lighting in here. Look at this plant. It's got like a bit of shadowing in here, which is weird, right? GI is not good. And yeah, this doesn't look great. Also, the ocean looks green. Like acid green. I don't think I like it. It could be done better, right? No, not save images. Then we have Evangelion. I don't like how the Evangelions look. I really like Evangelion, and I know that they're supposed to look like shiny plastic, but like EVA units Evangelion concept art. No, not even concept art, just like art. Look at this for a second, or actually, let me get a better reference. Actually, this scene from the anime. Notice how the highlights are way better. The highlights are like there. They're pure white. Granted, a lot of it is because, you know, the medium, anime, right? It can do that. But, buddy, the specular highlight is not even there. This looks like... This doesn't even look like plastic. It's not even slightly reflective. I hate how it looks so much. Right? Again, EVAs are supposed to be like made out of shiny plastic and look uncannily like organic. That like have muscles and stuff, which I guess they kinda got with like the arms. Right? But like the shader itself. And also, I don't care that, oh, it's supposed to be shiny plastic. Dude, please, let's have proper amino occlusion. Yes, you baked those in directly into the fuse years ago. Use GTAO, fix it from the terrible solution that Unreal has. Well, not terrible, it's a simple fix. It's just fixing out the light levels, right? Fix that. Bake the AO maps. Plug it into the ambient occlusion node in the material editor, boom. The rest is done by itself, and it's not that hard. It's what Daybreak uses, and I would say we got pretty good results, especially for like character rendering, right? Again, ESCO looks so much better, and again, imagine something like this. Yes, this is like slightly less plastic leaky, and you know you can see like the brush strokes, and you know it's an illustration. But imagine if like it was more like this, more rough, more a little bit more like just shinier, right? Make it shinier. Make the like this is there's no sus. Every material blends with each other because there's no material variety. Everything looks the damn same. And besides that, dude, what happened to saturation in video games? There's no saturation in this. And like, I don't know about you, but I don't know if you have gone outside, but the sun is way brighter. Let me get actually an image from Daybreak. Because, fuck you, I can do that. I guess light spoiler too. Oh, where is this? There it is. This is demo 1, right? And we're not gonna look at this. This is demo 2. Slight spoiler, I guess. Notice how, like, the sun, like, the sunlight blows some details. The white is, you know, white, right? And everything has enough sunlight given into it for, like, the colors to pop, right? This looks like if it was cloudy, right? This looks like if it was cloudy, which is also something that I think that happens. There's such a disconnect between the skyboxes and the actual lighting. Ooh, that's loud. It just doesn't translate the same like emotion that the skybox is trying to get, right? I won't comment about the TMT one because I just haven't seen it, nor the Avatar one. Though again, same problem with like exposure and whatnot, and the lighting being like too muted. I like a bit more the colors, and I really like this background thing, but you know, I haven't seen it to properly like get an opinion. Okay. Again, Godzilla looks like mud. Actually, would be a good way to describe him. Mud. Alright. Work in progress, see some footage, currently development. It better look better, because this looks bad. I'm sorry, this looks horrible. Right. First of all, this is so empty. Nothing gives me that this is like evacuated, that this is a disaster, right? This is just empty road, right? Why? Why? I already said what I didn't like about the lighting. It's kind of bad. Oh, music's ending. Hold on. I'm gonna put another scene. That's loud. There we go. The Evangelion collab. Again, everything looks like plastic. Even the damn road. Look at every material. You can genuinely not tell if something is metallic, if something is supposed to be asphalt, if something is plastic. Everything looks the same. Also, please tone down the motion blur. It's too much. See what I mean? Also, like, the skybox, the colors, everything is supposed to, like, give... Oh, this is a sunny day. But it's muted. It's like if the brightness, the general brightness of the scene and contrast, like the contrast was made less and the brightness was toned down. Why? Why? It looks bad. And again, no global illumination. And the character shading looks awful. It looks so awkward. There's no shadows at all. Is this like gameplay of the Switch? Nope, this is probably PC gameplay. Come on, man. We're in 2026. I don't care that, like, oh, I need to have it on Switch. You can downscale it. And even then, it's not that hard. Backlights, and on Switch, low-resolution shadows. And for higher-end devices, you can have still backlight, because backlights are coded. Higher higher distance cascaded shadows for dynamic objects. And make that higher resolution. It can work. It can work. I don't care about this. So yeah, me personally, I'm kind of worried about how the next Sonic game is gonna look. Again, what has been shown so far, it's not giving me much hope. I'm gonna be so for real. And again, why would you move to Unreal Engine if the only thing that you're going to use about it is the fast iteration, but that comes with the engine itself, right? You're not using any of its graphical capabilities, right? You're not optimizing this to like be good. Like a game can look good without needing to sacrifice on performance. I genuinely think that Daybreak Demo 2 is a testament on that. So, yeah. Anyways, that was it for today. I got like 1 viewer, which is definitely me on my other tab. Actually, let me close like that backup tab to see how the stream is going. And see if the number goes down. It probably will. It will update anytime soon. Maybe. Oh no, do I actually got a viewer? Hi viewer that I don't know who he is. Or has it interacted? Hi. We technically got like 4 people from time to time, but you know. Whoa, that's loud. But yeah, I'm gonna end it here. I'm fucking